I'm just Ruby Gillman, normal teenager.
So DreamWorks has been working hard. Now's the season to drop all of your upcoming project trailers for the summer season, apparently, as they've turned around with a whole new IP, Gillman Teenage Kraken. Fulfilling the full trifecta of movie content, the masterpiece spin-off, the typical sequel, and now the new and original. And this movie... Yes! The Mermaid! Is just taking a stab at Disney. I love it. This trailer got dropped back in March and somehow releases as soon as June already. But it looks to be a pretty decent looking movie, being your classic coming of age tale with a twist on who's the good guy and who's the bad. With our totally not Ariel mermaid character being the surprise antagonist. After years and years of adoring mermaids in media and highlighting them for their innocence and pretty privilege, this movie intends to dispel the myth that they are the good and giant krakens are the bad. As much as mermaids were also mythically sirens that tricked sailor men and took away their life. So really, it all kind of fits.
Love you too, rando!
And this Ariel, or Chelsea as she's known in the movie, is totally a fake. She's just full-on ripping off Metro Man's joke there.
I love you, Metro Man!
And I love you, random citizen!
And it's interesting. This movie, I think, looks really nice. It's clear from this that DreamWorks really is going for the diversity output of content, with multiple different art styles going into effect, entirely based off of each individual movie. It is original and off the mold as can be. I love the character designs in this movie and how they're all so squishy and long. Sure, it might not be my favorite design for a human out of all of the options, but it is new. It has a clear style that works really nicely for the fishly aesthetic we have going on. Not to mention the color palette in so many of these frames, the way the underwater elements have illuminated lighting, you can just tell that this is going to be a gorgeous movie.
I have laser eyes?
Yes, they do pack a wallop.
A well-rounded piece of style, theming, story and tone that's not been matched by anything before, kept in its own little bubble. Though at the same time, DreamWorks has done this gag before, and the idea of an underdog coming-of-age girl story is one that's been done many a times, even recently to varying effect. I wouldn't exactly say it's safe, but it's a similar track with a whole new slick of paint. It leaves me very curious, but also somewhat doesn't seem like DreamWorks' next best masterpiece. But I am, of course, still very eager to see it. Never before have we seen a Kraken protagonist story, and I like the idea of flipping this fairy tale on its head. I mean, that is essentially what DreamWorks' entire premise was founded on, detaching from Disney and going against the fairy tale grind. We've seen Krakens in all sorts of forms, always seen as the voiceless brute of a monster out at sea, whilst mermaids have been strangely idolized by us humans. So to see it addressed so directly here, with a town of humans clearly pedestaling Chelsea, is a really nice reflection of that to promptly break down and play with. Not to mention all sorts of references to other similar aquatic media.
I know your secret. You're a kraken hiding as a human.
Ruby Gillman is named after Gillman, there's some Jaws homages, etc, etc, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more as we see the full runtime of this movie. But we've also almost kind of seen the whole runtime of the movie. DreamWorks has a scale of things, playing to two different crowds of people. Sometimes they make basic family pleasers with a trailer that somewhat reveals all, because it doesn't really care, for the younger audience. Other times it's gunning for a more critical audience that's a little more grown and less likely to want to see spoilers in the very first trailer. This movie is very much teetering in the middle. It's aimed at teenagers, so with that comes a compelling story with a nice new artsy aesthetic, and a trailer that reveals the final battle.
It's time to go big!
And unless this is specifically a dupe, it seems like Chelsea will remain as the bad guy with no twists. She gets big and evil looking, all the humans are surprised, and Ruby Gillman as the protector of the seas keeping us safe will have to step in, also in giant form. That's all there is to it. I'd like to think there's more. There's a pet we don't see in more than one shot, and maybe some mild conflict with the family, but no major twist anywhere. And it's all revealed right at once, just 3 months in advance.
I'm not gonna hide anymore!
Seeing this trailer for the first time, I was incredibly on board with it, as much as I'm clearly not the perfect audience demographic for it. But upon repeats, I feel the movie is disadvantaging itself more and more. Why is the marketing only giving itself a 3-month window? Are the executives not confident in its own success and want to quietly shove it under the rug? Are they strange worlding it? Or is this just the new approach to movie marketing, since attention spans are getting shorter and shorter? The director of this movie is the same guy that made Space Chimps. That's an interesting fact. Does that mean this is a super success story of progressing from the ground up, or does that insinuate that the project has been doomed from the start? I'm always a fan of subverting the tropes of fairy tales to tell a whole new original spin. Clearly, I'm a big fan of the Shrek franchise, and it's a very defining DreamWorks thing to do, and it's especially well timed with Disney literally remaking The Little Mermaid in live action right now to really hammer home the over-idolizing of mermaids that Ruby Gillman is trying to present.
People are stupid.
Was that intentionally timed, or just some good luck? Or maybe Disney is just predictable schmuck this decade. Whatever the case, the more I think about this movie, the more it seems to warp from a 10 down to a 6. My mind keeps changing on what I expect out of this movie. The visual design is fantastic. I love a lot of the motions and the presentations, the animation, etc. And the story seems pretty good on a founding level.
Krakens have protected the seas, keeping us safe.
But the more I look into it, the more shallow it seems. Add on to that the meta aspects of Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken's marketing and the crew behind it, and the time it's releasing with its surrounding projects at this time in the film industry, and my marker for a first impression on this movie gets more and more undefined. I'm curious, endlessly eager. The look of this movie as I spot it out in the distance seems enticing. But perhaps if I was to jump off this ship and swim into the waters and get a closer look, I'll turn to see my ship crashed against rocks and sirens pulling me deeper into the waters. It was a trap after all, and the outcome wasn't all that great in the end.
Are you ready for your destiny?
I just want to live my life.
Let me know your thoughts. Most YouTube videos of the trailer have comments disabled, so it's genuinely hard to find thoughts and opinions on this. But with that somewhat directionless discussion out of the way, I'd best leave it off here. But let me know what other trailers, news, or movies you'd like me to discuss in this newly defined mini-series. Just some short videos of our knee-jerk reaction to things like this. Leave them in the comments or on our Discord linked in the description. But for now, my name's been Dazz, you didn't really care, and I'll see you in a bit. DreamWorks, what an interesting company right now.